Today I want to give you 2 key tips to help you connect all of the positions on the guitar and make it make sense, and with those 2, we'll eventually combine them to come up with the ultimate hack and trick to connect all of the positions of any scale on the guitar fretboard. A couple disclaimers. 1, I have a 7-string in my lap. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. So just to make sure we include everybody, I won't even touch that low 7-string, so don't pay attention to it. Additionally, one more thing that I'm doing that you're probably not appreciative of, I'm a half step down. So if you go to play directly with me and you're in standard tuning, it'll sound a little dissonant, but that's okay, because the concept here, and that's the key, can be used in any key, any area of the fretboard, wherever you want to go. So let's learn it. Let's dive in. Let's start. First and foremost, welcome back. Know that I appreciate you being here and helping to support the channel. And if you haven't yet, make sure you click like, subscribe, and the alerts to be alerted of every time I do a video or a lesson. A lot of times we find ourselves really frustrated because we can find all we want to on the good old interwebs and internet about all the positions of all of our favorite scales, things like our major scales, our minor scales, our pentatonic scales, our modes, all of that stuff. But when it comes time to actually do something like improv in front of people and combine all of those, it's terrifying sometimes. So today, we solve that. Again, I'm going to be going over 2 tricks and tips that I use on a daily basis when writing and practicing to help navigate the entire fretboard with all of the positions, and then we'll be able to take those 2 things that I'm teaching you and combine them to show you what it really means and what it's all about. And while I'll be showing these all in what would typically be known as a G flat major, but starting on the 3rd fret of the low E, know that this works with all of your positions. We're going to be doing G major across the fretboard, but you could do this with all of your minor scales. You could do this with the pentatonic scales, your modes, everything. So first, let's get really comfortable with our first position of G major. Low E string, 3-5-7, A string, 3-5-7, D string, 4-5-7, G, 4-5-7, B, 5-7-8, and E, 5-7-8. Now, first of all, what we need to understand about every scale, especially the ones that are 3 notes per string, is that you're not just playing 1 octave of the scale typically. I mean, we have 6 strings, we have so many frets, we're repeating notes. We're just repeating them at different octaves. So when we go and we start with that low E and we go 3-5-7 into the A, 3-5-7, and then that D string when we hit 4, those are the only notes in a major scale. It's 7 notes, because then when we start up on that 5th fret of the D string, we're just starting again at G, and we're repeating the same notes. And in order to hear that, I'll play through and I'll stop. I'll let you know every time I hit an octave. There's 1 octave of the complete scale. There's another octave of a complete scale. And that is half of another octave. So we're actually playing 2.5 octaves in one, what we're calling position. But we don't have to play the octaves that way. So here comes tip number 1 in navigating the fretboard and connecting all of the patterns and positions that you know. So when we think about that low E string and it going 3-5-7, 3-5-7, that shape alone can help us navigate different areas of the fretboard and know what scale we're playing and where we're playing it. What I mean by that is we can do something like 3-5-7 on the low E, 3-5-7 on the A, 4, which we know completes that octave on the D string. And then instead of doing something like our middle finger to just keep going across the fretboard, we can actually shift upward toward the body of the guitar. So when we're on that 4th fret on the D string, if we just shift up to the 5th fret, we're now at G again, and we can remember that pattern, but this time it looks like 5-7-9, 5-7-9. And of course, we know that pesky B string, it's got a weird tuning, but it's the same concept. So we could go from there to our 7th fret on the B string, and that completes our octave there. And we could just shift up again, 1 fret, and what do you know? It's that same shape, that same grouping of something like 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12. And if you really want to resolve that and complete it, you could always scoot up and go 14, 15. Now, first of all, you can see that I've gone from just playing across, kind of like back and forth here, into starting to go in a diagonal position. So already with just that one simple trick, we are able to play diagonally and go up and down the fretboard really easily with just one idea and one position or pattern. But tip number 2 comes into play here because what we're actually doing is finding new ways to navigate into the actual positions that we know. So when I'm playing in this first position, obviously I'm playing in first position. But as soon as I shift up here, I can start to tap into the second position of major. The same goes for when we make it up here in that exercise to 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12 on the B and high E string. And again, if you resolved it on the 14th and 15th fret of the high E, you're inside of another position already. So those are the 2 tips, but how do we actually use it? How do we combine that knowledge into being able to actually tap into all of the positions all over the fretboard with complete ease? Well, now that we know our octaves and we know that we could shift those around, know first of all that those continue. If you really take a look at all of your positions of every scale, you will see repeating notes and repeating intervals all over the place. So you don't just have to go low to high. You can come back here and hit the same exact intervals and different spacings. But the key here, and the easiest key, honestly, is to know that your next position always falls on the second note of the previous position. As an example, with that first position of G major, we went 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, and so on. Well, your second position starts on the second note. So we went 3, 5, 7. So on that 5th fret, that's where our second position of the scale starts. It's that easy. So as long as we know that, and we know the shapes of all of our positions, we can easily combine across the fretboard the entirety of every position. So the best way to think about this is if you need to tap into the other positions, I really lean toward the idea of octaves across the fretboard. And then I start to visualize what position I'm actually in by remembering all of those steps and the processes. So if I'm in position 1, I know for a fact that my second position starts on fret 5 there. And if I'm in position 2 and I want to go to 3, I know it starts on fret 7. Because of what I've already played and established in the previous position. So hopefully this is valuable for you. In fact, I've done an entire series on connecting the dots and connecting all of the positions of the G major scale. I'll make sure to put that playlist up here since it breaks it down position by position, video by video. And until next time, thank you so much for being here and supporting the channel. And I look forward to hearing how this impacted you and how it works. Thanks as always, and I will see you in the next video.